Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Tyler. I'm the chairman of NWPOA. And the thing that NWPOA is concerned with is increasing taxes, property taxes, and people that are getting taxed out of their homes. Now, we see here so far that there are urban renewal districts that work and some that don't. I've got a friend, a business owner, I won't say what city it's in, but he was working with a city, and I'm going to give you an example of a tax increment financing. That's how this all started. It was called tax increment financing, and at the time they were saying we're just going to take a little piece and turn it into taxes, and it's going to be a good thing. That all kind of morphed over the last 15 years into the big Urban Renewal District. I've lived here 26 years, so I've seen all this from the beginning. So a friend of mine, he got with the city and they said, hey, we got this property that's not bringing in any taxes. It's out, outside the city. We can develop that. If we put the money in to develop this, we can give you a chunk of it. Would you like to do that? And he said, sure. And so they developed this property that was not bringing any taxes, parceled it off, and this guy was going to go in and do his building, and which would end up bringing in taxes for the city. And when they got it done, a big developer guy came in and took over the whole project. And this guy was like, hey, I thought we had a deal. So even on something that might sound like it'll work good for a city, it's still controlled by government. Where is the free market? Where does that play a role in all this urban renewal tax increment financing? So yes, in this example I'm giving you, they will end up making maybe some extra money for that city when this developer does his thing. But why couldn't this developer do that on his own? Why did a city have to be involved?
Yes.
Why did our property taxes have to finance it? That's the main issue as far as NWPOA is concerned. I'd like to read you what the definition in Wikipedia is of urban renewal. Urban renewal is a program of land redevelopment often used to address urban decay. How many of you think that our area is under lots of decay? I think, is that why everybody wants to move here? Urban renewal is the clearing out of blighted areas in inner cities to clear out slums and create opportunities for higher class housing. So I guess we have parts of Coeur d'Alene that are slums and parts that are high class. A primary purpose of urban renewal is to restore economic viability to a given area by attracting external, private, and public investment, and by encouraging business startups and survival. Urban renewal is a process where privately owned properties within a designated renewal area are purchased or taken by eminent domain by a municipal redevelopment authority, raised and then reconveyed to selected developers who devote them to other uses. So that to me sounds like they're completely bypassing the free market capitalism that our country is built on. Why do the local taxpayers have to pay for this? In the case of the hospital, it doesn't pay property tax, but we actually lose tax revenue that was already there. All the businesses that are going to have to be moved, and the hospital takes over, they won't be paying that income. I wanted to mention, because I knew these guys would cover the cities pretty good, so I wanted to mention what's happened in California. This is from a Forbes article. In 2011, Governor Brown ended urban renewal. The state controller found that the 400 agencies had stripped $40 billion from public education, causing a bailout from the state's general fund. That every URD audited was found to have reporting deficiencies and that some weren't appropriately tracking their debt. After decades of operation, URDs proved to be a pipe dream. As projects underperformed, the agencies wound up consuming 12% of property taxes statewide. Affordable housing was a main failing. The money was spent inefficiently. According to a 2010 LA Times report, 120 municipalities combined to spend $700 million in housing funds without producing a single unit. Now, there's a question was going to be asked here, but I'd like to just point out that in the city of Post Falls, their urban renewal charges about 2.5% to administer their urban renewal. I'm not sure what it is up in Hayden, but I do know that Coeur d'Alene, Unite, is about 25% of our property tax dollars goes to their administration. In some cases, these agencies just turn the URDs over to commercial developers. So why need them to begin with? The worst thing, this article says, about URDs was the eminent domain. Using blight designation, which could be determined at whim, URDs used extraordinary powers to confiscate property. According to a state Senate committee. Nope, I got a minute. I'm known for going over, sorry folks. In a ruling by the California Supreme Court, it rejected a lawsuit brought by state urban redevelopment agencies saying, this is what the California Supreme Court said when it was back. California cities do not have a constitutionally given right to steal money from schools and other tax districts to use for their crony capitalism and social engineering.